then we'll get started. So bear with us for the time being. So looks like we're ready to go. So hey there everyone, and welcome back to Redline Racing Community. We're here for FNR, the penultimate round of the championship here at the Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit. Yas Marina with the 5.5 kilometer circuit, about 3.4 miles, just over that. With 21 turns, 11 to the left and 10 to the right. It's going to be pretty challenging for our drivers with a race lap record of a 1 minute 39.283 set by the currently 7-time Formula 1 champion Lewis Hamilton in 2019. It's famous for the hotel section in Sector 3, designed obviously by Herman Tilke, and his first GP in 2019, and none of them have really been that memorable to date. Obviously we've got the championship decider in, I believe it was 2012, with Fernando Alonso and Vitaly Petrov, where Alonso couldn't get past the Renault and was stuck behind him for about 40 laps before the end of the race, and that really did cost him the championship, to who then was Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull. So hopefully these guys, I've heard they are a pretty high caliber of drivers. A few recognisable names from Tuesday where you were with me for TNR. We've got, Forza Ferrari, Jonathan Cox, Stinson, and a few others to name as well. But 11 points cover the top 2 in the championship, and it's going to be an interesting title fight for the last 2 rounds. It'll be a pleasure for me to take you around. So a short qualifying followed by a 50% race. These guys looking to put the fastest lap in, and obviously make sure they get the strategy right as well. So getting all the telemetry up we need. Don't really have ever done or commentated over a league race here at Abu Dhabi, so I'm not really sure what the strategy would be. Hopefully we can get AWS to show us a few things and see how reliable that is. We've got a few people going out on mediums, perhaps for a bank lap or whatever, but we've got a few people coming out, a Ferrari of CGM Ferg, and also a Red Bull as well, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see what everyone gets up to in today's race. So, and it'll be a pleasure for me to take you along the way as well. 3 people watching, guys, welcome to the stream. We'll go on board with the AlphaTauri of Dragon on Speed. Raced with him before. He's a pretty good driver, and it'll be interesting to see how he's improved over the last couple of games. So currently on the yellow stripe medium tyres. If you are new to Formula 1, the soft, medium and hard tyres are the 3 different compounds the drivers have to use. The soft obviously being the fastest, but wearing out a lot quicker. The medium being a nice little balance between the two. The medium losing about 6 tenths a lap, but also lasting a little bit longer. And then the hard, obviously the slowest, but the most durable of the tyres. And in qualifying, if you start inside the top 10 on your qualifying lap, you have to use that exact set of tyres you set your fastest lap on for the race. If you start outside the top 10, of course, you get a free choice of tyre, which could definitely play into the hands of some people for this strategy. So, just with Dragon on Speed, first out on track. We've also got a comment on stream, so I'll just have a look at that as soon as I get the stream up on my phone. It would definitely help if I did that, Zach. But yeah, Dragon on Speed, just negotiating these couple of corners, and we'll see how he gets on for the first lap. Obviously, perhaps putting a bank lap in or going all out on the mediums as well. Evening, Jonathan Cox, thanks for joining us. Hope you do very well in today's race. Getting a bit of a tank slapper coming onto his lap, but coming down into turn 1 after this pretty short pit straight. Braking just before the 50 board, bit of a lock up coming into turn 1, third gear corner flat out, coming into turn 2, a quick left hand flick as CRG Ferg coming out the pit lane, doesn't quite get in his way, using all the track on the exit there, and I believe he just invalidated his lap, so fine margin, but instead we'll go on board with the, actually let's have a look who's on a lap at the moment, bear with me guys, who's on a lap at the moment. Dragon speed, and we've also got the Red Bull of Extremists coming into the second chicane for us. Very tricky to negotiate, and then it's crucial you get a pretty good run through this hairpin to get a nice launch onto straight, using second gear to get the power down a little bit earlier. Coming onto this DRS straight, we've got a car there on the inside, I believe it's a Williams and an Alpha Tauri. The other flags, but you shouldn't have to concede. Dragon on speed and Ferg saying hello as he goes past. Straight line for this heavy braking zone, braking just at the 100 board, down the gears really quickly, really maximising that engine braking into second gear, maximising the exit as much as possible. Gets a bit of a tank slapper though, and that's going to cost him a bit of a run on to this straight. DRS open, of course, and he's on these soft compound tyres, so he's going for out and out speed in this qualifying session. Not using as much of the track as he could perhaps use into this heavy braking zone. Second gear doesn't quite get all the curb, but hitting the apex nicely, negotiating those double S's pretty nicely and keeping it in third gear through the left hand flick, flat out for this triple right hander, and then a heavy braking zone into the third right hander into the hotel section. Very beautiful section, doesn't produce the greatest racing, but at least it looks nice, right? Third gear as the Renault sets a provisional pole lap for 34.4 and CRL goes about a second slower there, and we'll see what the guy we're riding on board with does. He goes a provisional P3, very close times there between the provisional second and third. We'll go on board with Ian MC as he negotiates, coming on to the end of sector 2 into the flat out triple right hander as DFRO Hazard goes provisional second with a 35.0 on those medium striped tyres. Ian MC also on these yellow marked medium tyres, negotiating the hotel section pretty impressively there, keeping it clean. Most of these guys will probably want to get a nice bank lap in, obviously 18-minute session, so not too big of a rush as XRT goes 6th fastest with a 37.3 and Ian across the line to go P5 in this session. Forza Ferrari, a man from last week, Tuesday actually, not last week, who drove a pretty nice race to the podium, and he's negotiating the first couple of corners pretty nicely. He's also got a McLaren in his rearview mirrors as he negotiates the first chicane. Coming into the hairpin, maximising the track on the exit down to second gear, hitting a nice late apex, getting the power down as early as he can, using the track on the exit as he tries to open up DRS. And is he pulling off to abort the lap? Yes he is, so we'll ride on board with the McLaren that is behind him on these medium striped tyres. KRC as he comes into the braking zone, braking pretty late at the 100 board, a little bit of a lock up, misses the first apex, but gets it bit in quite nicely for that second apex. And also guys, remember to like the stream if you are enjoying it so far, it does help out the league, and I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Coming in after this second DRS straight, really going in deep, using the curb to open up the corner, and gets a bit of a lock up but negotiates it pretty nicely there, using all the track he can and using the track to its potential. Pretty nicely negotiated there by KRC, sorry, coming into the heavy braking zone. Another massive lockup, we're going to see that a lot as Jonathan Cox goes provisional pole, one of your championship contenders on the medium tyres in the Racing Point. CGM Ferg kind of goes third place, but as he negotiates the final couple of corners, what's he going to do? It's going to be a 34.9, and that puts him a provisional P4 so far in this qualifying session. Just had the dad to deliver the takeaway, so if you hear me munching away, just know I'm enjoying a lovely burger and chips as the stream progresses. 11 minutes left in this qualifying session then, and so far the good order looks like with Jonathan Cox with provisional pole, Cal Cohen in second, CGM in P3, KRC provisional P4, P5 goes to Mr. Elite, Hazard P6, Optics P7, Benny Boy P8, CRL Chris P9, the Extremist YT in P10, Ian P11, No Brainer in in P12. Even an optics, mate, you're doing a lovely qualifying session there, sat in P8. Hope you're doing as best you can. Forza Ferrari in P14, as we're riding on board with him now on his second lap on these red Mark soft tyre. Pheasant Plucker in P15. Stinson, Dragon on Speed, Nathan, all yet to do a lap. And it appears as though he hasn't improved much on his lap is Forza Ferrari, so he's going to be looking to go again. Doesn't want to use too much of these soft tyres as he's going to peel into the pits. And we've got a couple of people on and out lap, such as the Renault and provisional second place man of Calcoin. So just going to have a look at who are the championship contenders. I believe Jonathan Cox is one of them. Just need to find out who the other one is. So Jonathan Cox, it is behind him and the McLaren we were riding on board with, KRC. So 11 points. If KRC gets 4th place and Jonathan Cox doesn't score any points, then he will overtake him going into the final round with, what is it now? Well, he needs to have a 26-point gap after this race if he wants to secure the championship, so that's going to be 15 points. So if Jonathan Cox gets in the top 3 and KRC fails to score points, then he's going to be the championship wrapped up in tonight's race. So Jonathan Cox going for the double championship, I believe, in TNR as well. And the Renault starting his lap now on the red Mark soft tyres, coming into turn 1, full ascendance there, carrying a lot of momentum coming into turn 2, the flat out left-hander into the right, using the curb on the inside to keep the car hooked, straight lining it, coming into the second chicane, braking just after the 100 board, really sending it in third gear, second gear to get the car turned in a little bit better, coming into the hairpin, using the engine braking, trail braking to get that late apex, a lot of lock, and it's important you get a nice exit and some good traction coming off the corner. So into the DRS straight, not much you can really do except for relax, change your engine modes a little bit, and hope you brake well, don't miss your braking points coming into this corner. So braking at the 100 board, once again braking really late, it's down to second gear, using that engine braking, a little bit of lockup, just shows how much he is pushing the car. Nice run coming on to the second consecutive DRS straight, and coming into the second of the chicanes. Braking nice and late, really sending it in third gear. This is where we saw Sergio Perez mug Lando Norris around the outside in the 2019 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He has gone purple in that middle sector, as I was seeing on the track map. Through this triple right-hander, really using all the track, making it as straight as line as possible for the braking. That means he doesn't lock up down to second gear. Short shift to third to get the extra traction. Nice apex there for the left-hander, and again for the second of the 90-degree right left-handers. Really good coming into penultimate corner, really sending it in fifth gear, using all the track on the exit, and he's going to peel into the pit lane, so he clearly wasn't happy with that lap. And Extremist is out of the session as he crashed coming into the pit lane. Now got 8 people watching, pressure's on me now. Hopefully to see you proud. Obviously guys, if you are enjoying, please do like the stream, it would be greatly appreciated. So 7 minutes left in this quali session, and it's spicing up to be pretty good for the championship fight. Jonathan Cox doing all he can to try and wrap up the championship tonight, doing well in pole position, just showing his strengths. He is a very quick driver, and we'll be looking to take the second title this week. So that is qualifying over for the Extremist YT. Obviously him qualifying down in P11 means he will get free choice of tyre for the race. So that is one positive to take out of it, I suppose you could say. In MC, in the BWT Racing Point, on a lap as well. Not quite sending it in as much as our Renault and his teammate as well. But nonetheless, nice lap. The gap to pole is about 1.3 seconds, so hopefully he can find a little bit more time than that. Coming into sector 3, really just trying to put a good bank lap in. It seems really going for it as well. Doesn't want to leave anything on the table in qualifying. That is where you just go balls to the wall and send it. Braking nice and late for here, goes in a little bit deep, but hits a nice apex, brings it back over to the right hand side to hit the first of the 2 90-degree apexes. And coming into the penultimate corner, he is red on his time, and he may have to get into the pits, or is he going to go for another lap? We're going to stay on board with the racing point to see how he does. He does a 34.6, but it looked as though it was invalidated. A 34.6 would have put him in a provisional P5 ahead of the second place man in the championship, KRC. But obviously going again, he's not got much ERS to play with. Energy recovery system, of course, where they harvest the kinetic and heat energy from the brakes, where you slam the brake pedal down, transfers that into electrical energy to put it into the battery and power a motor to give him about an extra 140 brake horsepower, which, you know, to the rear wheels is going to be quite a hefty amount of brake horsepower. That's like your average, more than your average road car, just extra. There is Nathan, goes provisional pole on this soft red marked tyres for 34.271, exactly 2/100ths quicker than your championship leader Jonathan Cox, who nonetheless is on the medium compound tyre. So for him to be that quick on that tyre is pretty impressive. So definitely getting into the head of his second place rival, who will be looking to hope he makes a couple of mistakes. I've been there myself, been in second place. You got everything to win. So you just want to go for it, and as soon as you see them get ahead, then it's just, yeah, it's disheartening to say the least, seeing them do well when you need to make up those points. Let's just say that. But yeah, Ian negotiating this lap pretty nicely, and he comes into the pits. We have 4 minutes left in this session, so anyone wanting to get back out again, we've got No Brainer setting up a lap in the Alfa Romeo Orlen, coming down this very short pitch straight, no DRS. Of course, he's also got Renault behind him, sending it into turn 1, nicely done, no locks-ups whatsoever. He's on the red marked soft tyre, flicking it through turn 1, 2 and 3 pretty nicely, coming into the first chicane, braking just after the 100 board. KRC though makes a statement and goes with a 33.8, 4/10ths quicker than his championship rival of Jonathan Cox. So that is a statement to make. Will Jonathan Cox react and go on to the soft marked tyres, or think wisely, think long term and stay on those medium tyres? He's still in P3, which is pretty good, but he needs KRC to be out of the points or score less than 7 points, I believe. Not entirely sure. I'll work it out in a little bit when we get a bit of a moment to breathe. Using all the track there to shorten the distance is a no-brainer, so that was a no-brainer to do there. Braking just after the 100 board into the second chicane, second gear, third gear to get the power done, getting a bit of a slide through the midpoint of the plateau. Someone just gone quicker. Optics has gone quicker with a 34.3. Very close times there across the field at the front. The top 7 separated by just 0.6 of a second. So very good driving from everyone. Just goes to show you can't leave anything on the table as No Brainer negotiates this final sector of the track, with the Renault is behind him as well. So coming around the final corner, what is it going to be? It's going to be a 34. It's going to be a 34.1. He goes provisional P2, knocks Jonathan Cox down into P4. So really, really strong lap from No Brainer. Puts him just 0.3 behind the second place man of KRC. So really good lap from him. I'm sure he won't be. He'll be pretty chuffed for that. He won't have enough time to get into the pits unless he's going to save his tyres and fuel. But it looks like that's going to be the end for him. KRC peels into the pits as well, so that looks like it's going to be the end of his qualifying session as well. Optics on a lap as well as he aims to improve the P5 position. Raking nice and late, and it looks as though he's going to abort this lap, try and save the tyres and go for one more last-ditch effort at the end. We've got Ferg that has retired, so he's going to be at a maximum P8, could get bunched down a little bit, but he's got 0.5 to the nearest rival, so hopefully he's going to be okay. Got a few people on outlaps. Jonathan Cox has gone out on the soft tyres. We'll see how he does compared to the championship rival of KRC, hoping to wrap up this championship today. So he'll be on the outlap looking to find that extra bit of time. The soft mark tyre should get him about 0.6 as the Renault with a 1:34.146 goes literally 2/200ths of a second faster than the third place man of No Brainer. Very, very close times here. Literally blinks of an eye between these guys. And Stinson also on the soft mark tyres on his outlap. He hasn't yet put a lap time in. So it will be very interesting to see. Optics has just said he's not beaten that, so fair play to him. He's completely and utterly backed off the lap. P6 though, mate, you're not far off everyone, so I wouldn't squint at that. That's a pretty good time to be doing. Just hope you don't get bunched down too far. Looks like your main rivals are in the pits, so you should hopefully be okay. P5, P6 should be nothing to be complaining about with a teammate what's in P1, so good result for the team. As Jonathan Cox comes to set up his lap, putting the engine into hot lap mode, and he negotiates the final corner. His best time at 34.2 at the moment. We'll see if it improves. This is going to be everyone's fun. Wait, no, he didn't make the line. Jonathan Cox did not make the line, and that is his qualifying session done. So we're going to stay on board with Stinson instead as he comes through the second chicane. Hasn't yet put a lap in, so it is everything that matters on this lap. All the pressure is stacked against him, but he is one of the quickest drivers on the grid, so let's hope how he negotiates driving on speed, going with a 35.888. He looks like he's on another one as well, so it'll be interesting to see where he puts the car. Braking nice and late for the second chicane. Bit of a lock-up though on his only flying lap is Stinson. Should be okay though, didn't cost him too much time. Looks like he's red in that first sector, looking to shorten the distance of the track, using all this white line and straighten it out. Coming all the way to the right hand side of the track, braking at the 100 board down to second gear, using the engine braking, short shifting to third gear, get the traction fourth, and nicely done through those S's at third gear for the first 90-degree right-hander into the triple right-hander though. He's going to be flat out using the camber of the track to minimise the amount of distance he has to travel, braking in a straight line. Another lock-up once again, clabbering that apex though. He's in third gear, clips the other one, runs a little bit wide. Is that going to be the lap button? Validated, it may or may not be. Running all the way to the wall as Nathan goes pole with a 33.6. Can Stinson respond? He's got a bit of toe and also dirty air from Benny Boy. What's it going to be? It's going to be... It was invalidated. So Stinson, one of the quickest driver on the grid, is going to be starting from last. So it'll be very exciting to see how he cuts his way through the field. So, yeah, very exciting qualifying session. Your grid order will be Nathan KRC, Cal Cohen, No Brainer, Jonathan Cox, your championship leader, Optics, Pheasant, DFRL, Hazard, Ferg, CRL, Chris, Mr. Elite, AJ Wuhan, Forza Ferrari, Benny Boy, Extremist YT, Ian MC, Dragon on Speed, XRT, Crovi, and Stinson in P19. Very good race, shaped up for us as well. Massive championship implications in this one as well before we head to Kota for the championship finale. So, as Jonathan Cox didn't actually set a lap on the soft compound tyres, he's going to be starting the race on the mediums, so potentially the better strategy. In the long term, starting P5 as well, not too shabby of a result. So he just went out on those soft tyres just in case he did get bumped out of position. Easily could have set pole position though, perhaps if he had the pace. So, just while we wait for everyone to load in, final adjustments to the setups, obviously with park family, that's a little bit limited. Adjust their strategy, adjust the fuel loads before we go to the grid and start the formation lap. Good one, Zach. I've just dropped a bottle lid, so definitely a sign for things to come. Someone's definitely going to bottle it off the start. If that is a sign, I don't know what is. So, formation lap, predicted pit stop strategy, both 2 stops if you're starting on the softs. Just going that little extra later with the medium tyres. So, Williams on pole. Been a while since we've seen this, and McLaren in second as well, Renault in third. Very shaken up grid, it must be said. Telemetry position change. We'll go for position changes. We'll go for lap data, which you know we won't. And yeah, we'll keep it like this. So, that's what it's all been leading up to. Penultimate round of RRC Redline Racing Community FNR Gold Tier. These are some of the best drivers in the league. And it's shown. You can see pole setter just controlling the pace, weaving about like a little snake. If you see them weaving about, that's just them trying to get the temperature into the tyres to make sure they have that extra grip and traction off the line. Williams going really, really wide there, and he's disqualified. The Mercedes CGM Ferg kept disqualified in the session, so his tyres are going to be basically put in the fridge until the others cool around the lap at about half speed. So, fortunate for him, it looks like Stinson's also been bumped up a position as well. So, going to be interesting to see how this race pans out. Obviously, we've got a mixture of strategies. So, who of those outside the top 10 have put the mediums on? Most of them have. Forza Ferrari, Benny Boy, Ian, XRT, Stinson, as well as he tries to come through the field. AJ Wuhan on the medium tyres as well. So it'll be interesting to see how well these guys can manage their tyres and how quickly the mediums come into their own in this race. So just one more section of this formation lap to go. And we will see it lights out for the penultimate round here at Yas Marina. Hopefully they can put on a bit of a show, unlike we see in real life F1. 22, the car number for P1. Lovely bit of ghost in there. Don't PG-13 guys. Don't want to see cars inside of each other. That would be lovely. So as the cars line up on the grid, obviously CGM Ferg. Getting a bit ahead of myself there. CGM Ferg. In P9, just waiting for everyone to line up as this tyre's going to be bloody freezing, it must be said. So everyone lined up on the grid ready. Hopefully they're parked up nice and well. And as we go to the lights, green flag has been waved at the back. And we go to the lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it is lights out, and away we go here for the penultimate round of RRC. The McLaren has got a nice launch coming into turn 1. It's a very short run though, so the Williams is going to hold station out in front. The Alfa Romeo getting a bit squirmy on the exit as he looks to get an undercut on the McLaren. Can't quite keep the grip there though, unfortunately. And there's a bit of yellow flag. There's been calamity, has there? Big crash at the back of the field. There's a Red Bull and a Williams and a Renault still stuck at the back of the grid, as again we're having a bit of telemetry issues, and it looks like there's a full course yellow already here at Yas Marina. More excitement in the first 3 corners than we've seen in 11 years of real life racing. But Nathan leads the way, followed by the second place man in the championship, and No Brain has made himself up into 3rd position. Two drivers, both Ferrari boys, with penalties so far in the race. So full course yellow, this could give anyone with a bit of damage potentially a chance to catch back up. So Stinson has managed to make himself up 5 places, as well as his teammate up 2. Provi up 5 places as well into P12. Force Ferrari up 1. CGM Ferg down 1, obviously with his colder tyres, and we've got 2 drivers into the pit lane, potentially to score some damage. Very interesting pit lane here at Yas Marina. You dip down, Mercedes pit crew putting on the yellow striped medium tyres. The Ferrari boys, oh, they're double stacking. No, this is calamity for Benny Boy. Also got a Williams and Renault and Red Bull coming in after an early lap 1 incident. Says they're leading. Don't think they are, Codemasters. Not gonna lie to you, mate. And so just lining up behind the safety car is Williams and Nathan, as he manages to retain from pole position. Followed by the second place man at KRC in the McLaren, and no brainer. Benny Boy still apparently in the lead, but he's not. Codemasters, please fix this. It does make my job a lot easier. But a lot of position changes up and down the grid after that earlier lap 1 incident, where we saw a few cars in the wall and were potential damage. So the safety car is out to bunch up the grid, keep them going slowly so marshals can go on to track, recover any debris that may have found it, and just remove any cars that may have crashed. Luckily no DNFs so far in the race, so we've still got full 19 runners, full grid of 19, just very shake it up, and we go again for another restart when the safety car decides it's safe, and the race director of Michael Massey decides it's safe to get the race undergoing at full speed green flag racing once again. So we can see everyone squirming around, still trying to get the temperature in their tyres. Obviously crawling around at this speed, you're not getting a lot of friction and heat into the tyres. As one of the Renaults goes really wide there and costs himself a couple of positions down. Oh, is he completely spun, or has he gone into the pit lane? Is that of Wuhan? I think he just spun around. And Stinson, no way. The favourite to take pole obviously had an invalidation on his lap. On his lap, has now had a further 5-second penalty as he comes into the pits alongside the Renault to repair damage, and that is really unfortunate. They'll have to hurry up and get back to bunch up with the grid. Luckily they're going around at about 40% race speed, obviously measured by the mini sectors of the marshal posts, so the race director can see that, and they basically just have to match the pace of the safety car. So Ben Stringer has said FTH needs to get the overtake done on Nathan quickly to build a gap, while Jonathan is trying to do some overtakes. Nathan pace though looks pretty good. I completely agree. His mind needs to be on the championship and doing all he can to close the gap, and he needs to get a good restart with those soft compound tyres to ensure he can get a good enough gap and use the advantage well, while his championship rival on the mediums is struggling to come through the field and waiting for the soft tyres to come off. But yeah, completely agree. The McLaren is looking pretty feisty. He needs that championship. He wants the gaps in the championship to come down as much as it possibly can. Currently, he will be gaining, what is that, 6 points on his rival, so that'll be 5 points down into Kota. As it stands, we're only 3 laps of 28 in though, and Nathan is looking really good. Safety car in this lap, as told by race control. So the Williams becomes your effective safety car, controlling the pace to get a good enough gap for the safety car to peel into the pit lane before he punches off, and we go back to green flag racing, as Forza Ferrari has been given another 5-second penalty for hitting the same person that gave Stinson his 5-second penalty. So unfortunate for both drivers involved there. Probably a bit of damage as well, and a lot of calamity already. So Nathan really backing this pack up, making sure he can get all the temperature into the tyres, making sure he's got a lot of room to play with, backing him up as he controls the pace to the safety car. Of course, no overtaken until the timing line and green flags are shown. It is Nathan's job to control the pace. He decides when he wants to go. Of course, he can't go, stop, and then go again. That would be pretty dangerous. So, round in the final corner, when is he going to decide to punch it? It looks like he's punched it now, has he? As we go back to green flag racing, it's been a pretty good launch, and it's green flag racing once again. McLaren still trying to get a bit of heat into his tyres, but it looks like our leader has managed to hold station for the time being, as everyone comes through turn 1. Dragon on speed, having a bit of a tussle with the Haas as he goes off the track and wide is the Racing Point. Going to look up the inside of him as well. There's yellow flags already. Has there been someone off? It's an Alfa Romeo or force a Ferrari. Oh no, no brainer. The podium sitter has been spun round and he's off the track in backwards into the wall as another double wave yellow flag. The Williams trying to get through on the Red Bull as well, and he's been spun round under traction. Unfortunate for him. The AlphaTauri looking down the inside of Stinson on Benny Boy. Nice move there as he tries to make the most of this safety car restart. Apologies there, but it looks like it's all calmed down a little bit. We got a Mercedes or Mr. Elite going for a move on Dragon on speed into this chicane. He's going to look to the inside on the medium tyres, dive down the inside. The AlphaTauri locks up and he's going to claim that race line as Dragon on speed tries to keep it on the inside. He can't quite do that, and it's cost him the position, 2 positions to the Racing Point and Renault, and he tries to keep it around the outside. It's just not going to be prevailed, and unfortunate for him, it can't do. But Jonathan Cox up into 3rd place, chasing after his championship rival of KRC, who hasn't quite been able to make the most of this safety car restart, as Nathan pulls it away that 1 second gap, that crucial DRS 1 second gap, as he sets the fastest lap of the race with 35.8 as we start lap 5, and we finally had a full lap of racing. The Alfa Romeo, no brainer, crawling round in AI, so I believe he's given up. Unfortunate for him, we've got the Mercedes chasing down Optics. He's looking feisty after having a pretty poor launch initially. Is he going to look to the inside, send it? No, he's going to think better of it into the chicane, diving, really pushing him through the corners. Is he going to have a look into the hairpin? It doesn't look so. Jonathan Cox also closing up on KRC, and KRC's also closed up a little bit on Nathan. We've got 3 laps until DRS is enabled once again. CGM Ferg using all the overtakes, so is Optics to defend. He's only got 20%. He goes to the inside, there's space on the inside, but he's going to go to the outside. Optics goes with him around the outside. Is he going to look for the move? He's got the inside for the next part of the corner. Is Optics going to have to back out? Yes, he is, so he's going to concede that 5th place, and Forza Ferrari isn't quite close enough to do much about it on this occasion. Jonathan Cox chasing after his championship rival up in front of Stinson, making up some more places as he's only 5 tenths behind his teammate. This is the championship battle on track though, as seen so far. Jonathan Cox, similar amount of DRS. Benny Boy with 3 second time penalty already for multiple warnings. There's going to be a lot of that in this race. Nathan has also once again broken out of that crucial 1 second gap, as KRC seems to be struggling on the traction with grip, especially coming out of that final 90-degree corner. There's yellow flags in sector 3. It looks as though that is the Haas of Pheasant Plucker, who had a bit of a collision with Mr. Elite as they both come tumbling down the grid, so perhaps they both spun out there. 4 tenths the gap between the 2 championship leaders. We're going to go down to see Mr. Elite. Is he coming into the pits? Oh, he's going to send it up the inside. The Renault into the final corner. There's a bit of contact with Dragon on speed. He gets a bit of a tank slapper again. 5 second penalty. Not the cleanest driving out there so far. Stinson into the pits again. Mr. Elite follows him, and his teammate, oh no, not teammate, the Haas of Pheasant Plucker in with him as well. There's another safety car, so not the cleanest driving once again. Benny Boy with another 5 second penalty. He's got a lot of penalties to his name. Everyone really desperate in this penultimate round to make sure they can maximise the points, so everyone is pretty aggressive. Stinson as well, just being caught out. But we're going to go to another safety car restart, as this is going to help Jonathan Cox close up once again to his championship rival. This is also going to give KRC another go at overtaking Nathan if he can get a good enough restart as well. So we're going to have another couple of laps under the safety car while everyone warms up, bunches up, and they clear the debris on the track. Again, really like a lot of calamity that race. I didn't quite catch the crash of Elite and I believe it was Pheasant, but one of them got a penalty for it, so it looked as though they were both worse off as well. So safety car restart, everyone going around at a delta speed of about 40% race pace, and crawling around just while they line up behind the safety car. It's just that they're on track waiting for the leader to come by, and it looks like a few people are going to peel into the pits. The Williams and KRC are going to come into the pits. Jonathan Cox is going to stay out with his medium tyres to prolong this first stint and take track position, so he's going to be your net race leader as Nathan and KRC come into the pit for medium stripe tyres. His teammate gets a little bit caught up of optics as well, having to double stack. This could cost him a few positions as well. CGM Ferg from starting 9th from the grid is up into 2nd place. Forza Ferrari up into 3rd. Wuhan up 15 places into P4. So he's driving a great race. Extremist YT also, after a pretty dismal qualifying, he's also negative on fuel, so looking to save that. These safety car periods are really good for getting that fuel back into the positive. So big strategy coming into play here under these safety car conditions. And yeah, Jonathan Cox taking the lead of the race, so he'll be at the moment extending his championship lead by 24 points. As it stands, KRC is only getting 1 point, so as it stands he'll be taking the championship after today, if it stays like it is now. So KRC needs to make sure he plays the strategy well, knows what he's doing, and Jonathan Cox perhaps makes a couple of mistakes along the way, doesn't get in too many unnecessary scraps with the people around him, and we'll see how unfolds for the remainder of the 22 laps we have here at the Yas Marina circuit. In the last 7 laps, it's provided a lot more action than in real life in the last 11 years, so credit to these guys for putting on a, what do we call it? Is it it's not been much of a race, it's been more of just people crashing into each other. So far we've had 2 safety cars and a lot of yellow flags, but at the front it's been kept mostly clean. Towards the rear end of the pack, where everyone's a lot more bunched up and close together, yeah, but hopefully they can keep it clean and we won't see the safety car out on track. He's definitely getting his money worth, is the safety car driver. Doesn't look like we're gonna get one more lap under safety car, just while the Haas and Alpha try and catch up. So Stinson's still towards the tail end of the pack, still up 2 positions from his original starting position, but not as much as he'd hoped. Pit window open for the original strategy. F1 Insights powered by AWS. Again, not the most accurate stuff in the world, is it? But we've only had about 3 racing laps so far in this race, and we've only had we've had 2 safety cars already, and it's lap 8. Forza Ferrari and Provi both with penalties. The rest have had 5-second stop-go penalties that have been served into the pit. So you pull in, you stop, mechanics wait 5 seconds before they can do any work to the car. So it's everyone crawling around and trying to keep their distance to the car in front. For now, the only time they want to be really close is towards the end of the safety car period, where Jonathan Cox will back them all up. So we'll definitely see how it unfolds for the remainder of the race, and see if there's any fights for the lead going on, as CGM Ferb on the medium compound tyres looks to overtake the championship leader Jonathan Cox and Forza Ferrari as well. Looks like the top 4 are all on the medium tyres. The extremist YT with the red mark soft tyre, so he's going to be looking extra punchy. Let's see if he has made a pit stop so far in the race. Which one is it? It's this one. He has made a stop, so these are going to be fresher soft tyres, so perhaps he could come through the field. Safety car in this lap, so Jonathan Cox is now the effective safety car as he attempts to bunch everyone up behind. So once again, Jonathan Cox becomes your effective safety car. Weaving about, everyone snaking about, trying to get the heat into the tyres before the restart. Jonathan Cox getting raring to go, ready to punch it strategically so he catches his rival off guard. And he punches it early, coming out the final corner. So we go racing once again, and he's got a nice gap behind. And we go green once again for the restart. It looks like he's had a pretty decent launch there. CGM third, can't quite do much off the restart. Further down the grid, is there any overtakes into turn one? It looks like there's a few at the moment. Everyone's pretty much kept it clean so far in the race. The Williams of CRL on the back of the Ferrari coming in to the chicane. His teammate also looking punchy. He's going to go for it down the inside into the first chicane. Can't quite brake late enough. He's going to go for a cutback. Is he? As he tries to get a better exit. The Red Bull getting a bit shaky as well. Up in front, the Ferrari's going to have a bit of a run onto the straight. They're going to be neck and neck coming down the straight. Looks like the Ferrari's got the run with ERS alone. He's not quite ahead yet, so he's going to be waiting for the braking zone. They are really wheel to wheel coming into the second chicane. Braking late. Is the Ferrari going to go for it down the inside? The Red Bull swoops around the outside with his extra grip, keeps him pinned on the apex and retains that fifth position. But the Ferrari's going to come back at him with a cutback onto this second straight. No DRS at the moment. Coming into the second chicane, the Red Bull on the inside. It's going to be a bit different. He's going to send one up the inside of the Ferrari, but it looks like the Ferrari just swoops around the outside there. Brilliant move, Sergio Perez-esque. 8 tenths is the gap Jonathan Cox has up in front. There's another yellow flag as the Red Bull has had a bit of a mare up the inside. So he's gone from 5th place down to 13th. So calamity for him at the moment, as Dragon on Speed requires an invite to the lobby. It looks like he's disconnected. I'll quickly get to that now, just before we get back to the action. Dragon on Speed. There he is. Right. So he's given an invite. Jonathan Cox leading the way after the safety car launch then with a 38.0. KRC then trying to make up some positions as he pit during the safety car period. Closing down on the Williams. Further up we've also got his teammate looking to get past the Ferrari. Gets a bit pinched. The previous race leader on the apex there, and this is going to cost him 2, maybe even 3 positions on this straight. The McLaren is neck and neck. The second place man in the championship, Nathan, who looked to have pretty good pace, got swamped on the curb there, and he's now under pressure from the McLaren, trying to keep it on the inside. His teammate giving him tow all the way down the straight. The McLaren brakes really late, so does his teammate up the inside, and the McLaren's going to go for a triple cutback perhaps, and his teammate has got a triple cutback on all 3 of them as they all get pinched on the apex. There's a bit of contact there as they're going to be 3 abreast coming into the second chicane. Is the second McLaren of KRC going to be able to do anything into this corner? The McLaren on the outside coming into there, just going to have to concede to get a cutback. The Williams goes for it around the outside into the first of the S's, can't quite get the grip, so the Williams of CRL is going to keep that position, but Optics with great racecraft there to set up the cutback and get at least 2 of them, and his teammate all in one. The McLaren looking punchy. Biblical scenes there from Do Will, as Arava would say. Very biblical scenes there from the 2 McLarens and 2 Williams respectively. The interval, what is it going to be? Up in front, the Ferrari looking pretty close on the junior team. On the junior team car of the Alfa Romeo, looking close here at the Yas Marina circuit. Also trying to close in on the podium places. Is it wiser for them to work together, use their tyre advantage to try and catch up to the Renault in front? There's yellow flags in sector 1. It looks like there's a Renault who spun round of Caloken, and he's been completely swamped there as he spun round at the exit. There's yellow flags through sector 1 and 2 here as he tries to get going, but the Ferrari all over the back of that Alfa Romeo as we come onto the straight. DRS now enabled, coming onto this back straight with DRS. He pulls out early, doesn't even need the slipstream. It looks as though the Ferrari is going to have a done deal as he pulls back onto the racing line. The Alfa tucks back into the slipstream, and it looks as though the Ferrari is in front, and the Alfa can try and follow him to catch up to that P3 man of AJ Wu, who is currently in P3 after starting from P19 on the grid. So further down the field, the Williams now on the back of his teammate. It looks like they're just going to swap positions nice and easy. Don't want to spend too much fighting. But it looks like his teammate is going to keep it on the inside, so he's going to fight his way around the outside, send it back up the inside. They're going to keep it wheel to wheel. The McLaren now looking to get involved as well as they go side by side still through there, giving each other a lot of room. Do not want to take each other out as teammates coming through these fast, flat-out right-handers, still side by side. He goes in a bit deep, and he's off the track, and it's going to allow all of them to get a cutback, as well as Stinson, who's going to go for it around the outside. Can't quite get the grip, can he? Is he in front? Yes, he is. And Nathan, just from that one move, going in a little bit deep. Going a little bit deep, has cost himself 3 positions. There's yellow flags, sector 3, and there's a virtual safety car, as I believe Optics, no! Optics, after driving a great race, has spun and crashed into the wall there, meeting his good friend Barry. Barry you know, he's a good friend of everyone in the racing community, and it looks like he went to visit him today, and he's ended up staying around his house for tea, as he ends his penultimate round after driving such a good race. But this is going to trigger a lot of people into the pitch. Jonathan Cox, Ben is still on the medium tyres he started the race on, as well as Ferg. Is this going to trigger any round of pit stops, or are these guys going to hold out the track position? We've got the Williams of CRL, and then with green flag racing once again, they've been caught out a little bit in the pit lane. The Alfa Romeo still in the DRS range of the Ferrari, but Stinson on his redemption drive coming up, goes down the inside into the chicane. Is the McLaren going to leave him to dry around the outside? He is, but he's going to set up a nice cutback as he goes in a little bit deep, gets a compromised exit, and this is going to allow Stinson, who's charging through the field at the moment, is going to be side by side coming into the second chicane. He's going to look to go around the outside. Is he going to be able to get it done? The McLaren goes in a little bit deep, so he's going to have to concede that position. He keeps it on the inside. Not really much room there between them. They give each other just enough space. Hopefully no damage done. KRC holding on for dear life as he hopes to keep his championship fight alive. At the moment, he's going to be scoring 8 points to Jonathan Cox's 26. So 8 points, 26. That's going to be a 16-point lead. As it stands, Jonathan Cox will win the championship unless KRC can do something about it. Further down the field, Mr. Elite on the back of Nathan as well. After these two battle, there's a 4-car train. He's going to drive himself off the track. Can't quite find the grip in the front tyres. Stinson now on the back of KRC, and he's had a massive tank slap. The pressure has gotten to him, and he's going to plummet down into P9 position. Very unfortunate, and this has promoted Stinson into P6, but with the charging Nathan on the back, the previous race leader for the first stint of the race before he decided to come in and pit. 3 seconds the gap up front. Stinson trying to make the most of what was a pretty poor qualifying. Nathan cutting the curb, using all of the track on the inside, and just trying to make the most of the slipstream. We've also got the Haas down in P18, the fight for P17 between Dragon on Speed and Crovey. Dragon on Speed now reconnected to the session on the hard compound tyres. Crovey on the softs, really pushing him through this last couple of corners, cutting the curb there in an attempt to close up the gap. 3-second penalty for Pheasant, as well as Stinson, who's had another 5-second penalty handed to him after multiple track limit infringements. 3 warnings, and then it's a penalty. But Nathan and Stinson's best bet probably is to just work together in a nice little DRS train. They're carrying Mr. Elite with him. He's just given himself another 3-second penalty. This race and the championship could potentially come down to penalties, but Stinson and Nathan's best bet is to just work together and try and close up onto Forza Ferrari and Diafra Hazard, who is trying to make a dent in the podium man of AJ Wuhan. KRC trying to come back through. As it stands, he will lose out on the championship, and it won't go to the final round in Kota if it stands like this. Scoring only 2 points to Jonathan Cox's 26 with an existing 11 lap. Stinson sets the fastest lap, so takes that extra point away from Jonathan Cox. He sets the fastest lap, and he's on a charge. He's now already on the back of Forza Ferrari. Doesn't even need the DRS assistance from Nathan. He's already on the back of him, trying to set up a move, coming into the first chicane, coming off turn 3. He looks to the outside. He's going to brake late down the outside, thinks to concede it though, as Alfa Romeo takes the racing line. He's going to defend the hairpin though. Is Stinson going to set up a cutback, or is he going to try and use the grip on the outside? Nathan's also caught back onto the pack. Give me a better camera angle, please. Nathan getting a front row seat to it all. Not got much ERS to use though. Stinson on the inside, coming into the first chicane, but Nathan with a great run in the slipstream is going to get past both of them and mug the Alpha, and potentially even the Alpha Tauri off as well. But the Alpha Tauri is going to go round the outside and keep it on the inside for the second part, giving him all the room that he can possibly give, and the Alpha is going to get back past Nathan as he gets a compromised run. The McLaren of KRC also looking to get involved, and the Mercedes of Mr. Elite. This is now a 5-way fight for P6, yeah, P6 in this, P5 in this race, sorry, as well. And Forza Ferrari manages to hold on just about there as he leads the way. 5 cars in this battle there. So it looks like we've finally got some clean racing. Stinson all over the back of him, pushing him through them. Fast right-handers looking to get a better exit. He looks like he's going to be on the inside. Stinson's going to swoop around the outside similarly to how he did, and so is Nathan. He's going to follow him through around the outside, and the Alpha's got mugged again. There's contact, and he's almost been put in the wall. Well held there, but this is going to allow KSE to get both of them as well. Another tank slap. There's a bit of contact into the final corner. The McLaren on the inside. Really close margins here as the Mercedes tries to keep it on the outside. Stinson, no stretching his legs as CGM Ferg has managed to go into the pit lane. Stinson extending his gap as well, but KRC hot on his tail as Ferg pits for the soft tyres for the second stint in the race. Jonathan Cox still leads the way by 7.5 seconds. This battle is ridiculous. You are right. Very, very argy-bargy stuff here as Stinson tries to stretch his legs. KRC in the slipstream and DRS. Not got much DRS to play with, neither is Nathan in the DRS, as well as Mr. Elite behind it. Nathan goes to the inside, saving his ERS. The closing speed is immense. KRC not got much ERS to use either. He looks to the inside but thinks better of it. He's got another DRS zone coming up. Nathan has lost the DRS up ahead, so he won't have that to defend with. He gets a nice launch off that corner, but KRC has got the DRS to help get past. He's using all the energy he has got left. Is it going to be enough to go for a dive into this corner? He looks to the inside, but it's not going to be enough. He can't quite brake late enough. His best hope is to try and stay as close as he possibly can through this middle and last sector of the track. Is it going to be good enough? He looks like Nathan has got the pace and Stinson up into P4. So after a pretty bad start to the race, it looks like he's made up and he has got a 3-second penalty to contest with. Also looks like the field is pretty spread out. Let's go to our race leader of Jonathan Cox. Haven't seen him much. He's going to be looking to pit rather soon with 12 laps left in the race. KRC, Mr. Elite and Nathan the closest battle on track. Stinson though has driven up to the back of the podium man of DRFO Hazard. His pace is insane. He's put the hell out of those tyres. He's got the similar amount of ERS. There's a spinner back. It is the Williams of CRL as he's bottled it in the sector 3. This is going to allow Benny Boy to take that position. I can see on the track map as well. Stinson though now in the DRS of the podium man. Still yellow flags as he tries to get going. So far only one retirement of Optics, but Hazard getting really caught up on the exit of that chicane, allowing Stinson to drive up to him, getting a really deep and a squirmy exit as well, as allows Stinson to set up a brilliant cutback coming into the straight with ERS and DRS. Is he going to have enough? He's closing a little bit. It hasn't got the assistance of Slipstream just about, but he is going to be side by side coming down the braking zone. Will Hazard be able to brake late enough, or will he concede the position? He's going to try and brake late to go around the outside, but it looks like Stinson's going to claim that race line and the podium position with it as they try and chase down AJ Wuhan. This has also allowed Nathan to get in DRS as well of Hazard. Could he potentially use Stinson to help him cut his way through the field as well, use him to do all the hard work for him, get back on DRS range and then overtake them quickly as well, as Mr. Elite is closed up onto KRC back there, but we stay on board with Nathan as DRFO Hazard really struggling for grip on those tyres. And is this going to allow Nathan to take the position? They're still side by side, almost contact there as he swoops around the outside, but Nathan is going to claim that P4 position as KRC on the back of DRFO Hazard. How long has he been on those tyres for, I wonder? He's been on those tyres for 13 laps, so they are getting pretty worse for wear at this stage in the race, so he no doubt will be struggling for grip at the moment. Mr. Elite also on the back of the second place man in the championship. Again, I believe this will be enough for Jonathan Cox to win the championship as it stands. Of course, Mr. Elite will just secure that as CGM Ferg on his fresh, soft tyres sets a 37.0 lap. No worries, mate. It's my pleasure. It's really enjoyable to be commentating for the league. KRC looking at the back of for a Hazard as he's being completely mugged. Battling too hard has allowed everyone to catch back up to him and really bunch the field up once again, but he is in DRS range. KRC not got much ARS to use, neither has DFR Hazard. He's not going to use the defend though. It looks like he's just going to give this one up pretty easily unless he goes for it around the outside. McLaren tries to take the race line, massive lock up there. That's not going to help his tyres, but he's going to claim that P5 position and takes into a net 10-point lead. 10-point gain But Jonathan Cox has just been given his first 3-second time penalty. Looks like at the moment it will be enough to secure the win if it stays as it is. So far hasn't come into the pit though, but where will it put him if he does pit? It's about a 20-second loss, so it will put him just behind Ian MC. Obviously he'll be on the fresh tyres as well. Cheers Optics, mate, great comms again, I do appreciate that. Stinson has already driven up to the back of Wuhan as well as he's chipped away at that lead, kept it about the 20% ERS mark, and he's now in DRS range as we come on to lap 18 of 28. Surprisingly, Jonathan Cox hasn't pit yet, so he's really extending this first stint, perhaps to go on to a set of stops to have a really quick ending to the race. Stinson though looking strong as well in this race, could potentially take those medium tyres all the way to the end. Is on 14 lap, he might not be able to take them all the way to the end, he might have to pit again, but he is looking really quick compared to the rest of the field, setting fastest laps all around. We'll go back to no more information there, but he's in DRS and ERS as well, coming onto this back straight with DRS. He's going to use all the overtake button, extra 140 brake horsepower and a lot more extra speed. You can see the deficit is about 10 miles per hour as Stinson takes that P2 with no real fight. AJ Wuhan's best bet is to just sort of stick in the slipstream. He gets a bit of a lock up though, and is Wuhan going to have DRS? He is. There's a fuel course yellow. It's a safety car for Pheasant Plucker, who has binned it in the wall. Where has he put it? It looks like he's lost traction on the exit and put it into that wall there. Very unfortunate for him. Another person going to visit our good friend Barry R in this race. So full course safety car. Is this going to trigger Jonathan Cox to come into the pit lane, and as well as Stinson? This is going to be crucial for him if he wants to win the race. Does he come in on this? It should be logical for them to come in. Those tyres are looking pretty worse for wear, as you can see on the screen, pretty grained and worn. Not surprised. The amount of lockups we've seen is there was a few flat spots as well, but as they come round, this is going to cost him a lot less time. Perhaps this is what Jonathan Cox was waiting for, another safety car so he could peel into the pits, and he finally comes in. Is Stinson going to follow him in as well to take that net P2? He is. Wuhan as well. Nathan, is he going to come in? Late call. Looks like everyone's going to pile into the pits under the safety car period, so it is going to be pretty much standstill as Nathan's bottled it into the pit lane. No way! The man favourite to win, the pole sitter, has binned it into the pit lane. That is absolutely gut-wrenching for him, as he looked so good and such good pace. Just that little mistake cost him as Jonathan Cox comes out in the lead. It looks like Stinson either had a 5-second penalty or something to get rid of perhaps a bit of damage as well. Bloody that is, he's in Spain, but the S is silent at the moment. He looks so good to do well on the race, and that must be gutting for him. Absolutely. I know how it feels to bottle, and that it's not a good feeling, especially when he knew he had the pace to do well. But the race now at a standstill. Basically just pausing the race and everyone coming into the pits. Jonathan Cox and Stinson up into P3 after a brilliant second stint, looking to gain up some time on Jonathan Cox. But yeah, just while the safety car's out, a bit of breathing time for us. Can have a drink of water, can eat a bit of food, anything. Not really much to talk about, nothing really happening on the track. But that is gutting for Nathan as well as Optics and everyone else who was DNF. That brings our total up to 3 DNFs, a lot less than on Tuesday, it must be said. There was about 10 DNFs in that race. But yeah, so just while they all follow the safety car driver around, not looking too shabby of a race so far. We had 3 safety cars and a VSC, being pretty chaotic here at the Asmarina circuit. So, KRC, if Jonathan Cox gets the fastest lap in this later stage of the race, and KRC also drops one further position, it will be Jonathan Cox that takes the championship. If KRC drops a place and Jonathan Cox fails to take the fastest lap, KRC will need to win with the fastest lap, and Jonathan Cox will not need to score points. But safety car in this lap, Jonathan Cox has punched it as we come onto the later sprint of the race. Stinson will be looking punchy as we come through. KRC and DFRL has it with yet another spin at the back. It looks like CRL has DNF'd. But KRC holding on to his championship hopes as Stinson looking to overtake the Renault, looking to the outside as he half-heartedly defends the inside. The Renault pushing him through. KRC on the back of Stinson as well. Jonathan Cox trying to stretch his legs early, and the Renault getting a bit squirmy on the exit. This is going to allow Stinson to be really close to the back of him, pulling out early in the slipstream, going to the inside early to try and claim at P2 so we can chase after Jonathan Cox. AJ Wuhan doesn't look like he's going to be putting up much of a fight in the Renault. The AlphaTauri, he's going to brake late though, try and get it around the outside, but the AlphaTauri will just claim that position. DFRL Hazard looking to get past KRC. KRC needing to stay in front to hold onto his championship hopes. But further back we can see the Mercedes and Red Bull going side by side into the second chicane. The Mercedes looking to go around the outside. Has he managed to get it stick? And it looks like he has. And the Red Bull trying to fight back. He can't quite do it. On this occasion though, is he going to be looking up the inside? And it looks like the Mercedes has claimed that position. KRC on the back of AG Wuhan as well as the Ferrari behind as well. Only 5/10 covering each car in this race as we have 8 laps left to go. Stinson trying to chip away at Jonathan Cox's lead. You can see he is doing that to pretty nice effect. Wuhan lost touch of him there. KRC really needs to stay where he is or run better if he wants any hope of winning the championship at this rate. DFRL Hazard and Mr. Elite can put an end to his championship hopes at the moment. But if Jonathan Cox gets the fastest lap point, then it looks like it'll be a pretty done deal for KRC. But yeah, everyone, it looks like it's all settled down off the restart. We've got Dragon on speed and XRT Crovi look like they're going at it once again. Further down the field, Forza Ferrari also running pretty well as Extremis just takes himself straight off the track and into the barrier. Looks like he just completely and utterly understeered straight off the track, and it's going to be a VSC which will neutralise the race. And the Extremis YT, after crashing in quali, looking pretty good. Has crashed in the race, just completely pushing on at the hairpin, did not think to put the brakes on whatsoever, straight to the wall, and it's going to be a VSC which puts an end and neutralisation to the race. So this is going to help Stinson out as he can potentially use this to gain a little bit of time on his rival and perhaps get into DRS if he gets a good restart and maximises the delta. Obviously they have to abide to a 40% delta rule, and as well KRC and DFRL Hazard, if they get a pretty shaky restart as well, KRC could be out of the championship run. This is a race into the championship, of course, and look not around. It'd be nice if he could seal 2 championships that I know of. I've seen him win it in Bahrain on Tuesday. He could potentially do it here at Yas Marina, still in the Middle East, on Friday. DRS enabled though as we go green once again. Stinson within 8/10 to the championship leader of Jonathan Cox, who wants to win the race, just maximise the amount of points he can get. But Stinson looking really fast through this entire race, waited till the last second and at the middle stint to cut his way through the field. And looks like KSC has managed to open up the gap behind a little bit. Mr. Elite on the back of him as well. Stinson will stay on board with him as he tries to close up. He's got a little bit more ERS than Jonathan Cox, so he'll have a lot more to attack with, and Jonathan Cox will not have a lot to defend with either. On this first DRS straight, coming into the first chicane, braking as late as he possibly can. He can, yeah, true. He definitely could. He just needs to get past and go now. If these two start squabbling, it's a 2.5 second gap, second lead to the leader from KRC. He just needs to get back in front and hope, and he's made the overtake down the inside. It has KRC got it around the outside, so that is him up into third place and keeping his championship hopes alive. The Renault pushing him through, but now as Stinson and Jonathan Cox will start to battle, inevitably Jonathan Cox will not give away the lead so easily. FTH still has a chance to win the race. He just needs to wait for them to battle and not make too many mistakes of his own. 2.5 seconds is the gap behind to KRC from Stinson as he tries to close up the gap to Jonathan Cox. He's not really made much of an indent on this particular occasion as Jonathan Cox turn it up just that little bit extra so that Stinson can't get past. Obviously he just needs to stay within that crucial 1 second range to hold on to DRS, and that will certainly help his charge for the win of the race. Definitely my driver of the day so far has got to be Stinson after such a shaky start to the race, and cutting through the field so well in that middle stint, really making most of the overtakes and opportunities he's done. Very quick driver, very impressed. And KRC looks to be falling off a little bit to the leaders. He needs to hope he is in DRS, and he's got a lot more ERS to use as well, so he is going to be closing up a lot with these two DRS zones here at Yas Marina consecutively back to back, breaking at the 100 board and really closing up, hitting nice apex. Jonathan Cox getting a little bit squirmy, so this is going to allow Stinson to have a run with DRS. This is what KRC is hoping for. Will Jonathan Cox give it up with much of a fight? He obviously will. He's a racing driver. He does not want to give it up. He squeezes him all the way to the outside, but Stinson just holds him around the outside with DRS, and that's promotes Stinson into the lead. Not much of a race-winning fight as Stinson just soars around the outside with the DRS, and Jonathan Cox had no better hope but to tuck back in, and this has kept the championship fight alive. So it is now only going to be a 14-point lead into the next and final race. As it stands, KRC looking almost as if to lose the championship today, but he's kept it alive, and as long as Jonathan Cox doesn't finish in the top 3 next race, he will win it. At the moment though, KRC doesn't have a time penalty and Jonathan Cox does. But yeah, Jonathan Cox does have a time penalty, so KRC just needs to close in at a 6/10 of a gap. Wuhan on his tail though at the moment in this race, only 4 tenths back, so he could definitely have a look. And Stinson has already broken clear at DRS range behind to Jonathan Cox. He just needs to break clear and make sure. And Fisher, it has been a fantastic race up and down the grid, great driving from everyone, and very, very pleased to be commentating on it. Of course, thanks to everyone at RRC for the opportunity. Wuhan on this particular occasion can't quite get close enough. He's got a lot more ERS than the rival up in front. This will be crucial that KRC can hold on to as many points as he possibly can around of the championship. We've also got Mr. Elite on DFRL Hazard. Looks like he's a bit far back. He doesn't have any ERS to play with. No one really have any ERS that well. Yeah. Forza Ferrari and Dragon Ball Speed doing it really well, but they've got a lot to use in these final 4 laps, 3.5 laps of the race. Mr. Elite, over the back of DFRL Hazard in his Mercedes. Very, very nice livery. Mercedes this year, obviously for a great cause of Black Lives Matter. Apologies, my throat's really sore. It's been a pretty exciting race. It taps the ball on the exit there and doesn't quite get the run he needs. Hopefully he doesn't pick up much damage there. Wuhan made a little bit of a mistake as well as he loses the gap to KRC, and it's opened up to 4 seconds to Jonathan Cox from KRC. So he needs Jonathan Cox to have a pretty much a stinker race next race for him to clasp the title. He's been pretty good all race long, defending where he needs to defend, and he's basically been pretty mistakes that I've seen from KRC in this race. Looks like we've got the 2 Mercedes chasing down the Ferrari. Not often you see Mercedes behind a Ferrari. It's usually when you see blue flags being waved so far in 2020. But in the DRS, and they've both got literally no ERS left to use. Is the slipstream and DRS going to be enough? The Ferrari doesn't put up much of a fight. They're going to break into the fast chicane. The Mercedes is going to take the line. The Ferrari tries to keep on the outside. His teammate should try and set up a double cutback. Is he going to try? He can't quite get the power down, but he's got DRS and will be looking to overtake the Ferrari. He dummies to the inside, not quite going to find the room. The Ferrari doesn't budge. coming into the second chicane. Is he going to brake late enough? The Ferrari looking on the inside, the Mercedes on the outside. He's going to send up the inside. There's a bit of contact. Is the Ferrari going to be spun around? Not quite. The Mercedes backs out just in time, and the Renault, who we saw spinning out earlier on in the race, on the back of it as well, nearly hitting the barrier there as he uses a lot of runoff. But Elite has crucially got in front of DFRL Hazard for that P5 place. Maybe he can set off to chase after Wuhan Berg, looking to chase after Hazard, who also drove a pretty good race on Tuesday as well, but in DRS range, and he's got again similar amount of DRS to his rival, looking to get them extra couple of points. So 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. So this is going to be 2 extra championship points if Ferg can get past him. Don't know how crucial that is, but it's always nice to get a couple extra points under your belt as Elite tries to set up after the P4 man of Wuhan, who's also driven a pretty good race, if it must be said. Ifro has it getting a little bit wide, but getting a bit back for a nice exit. But in the slipstream, isn't going to be deja vu. The Renault also in DRS range could use some backwards momentum, especially, and try and set up a back. Mercedes goes to the inside. The Ferrari can't quite put up much of a fight coming into the braking zone, so he's going to pull over to the right hand side. The Ferrari locks up, and the Mercedes takes that position on the back of the Ferrari as well. DFRL hasn't really fallen backwards now in this stage of the race, but looks like the Renault doesn't quite have enough ERS to close as much as he has. The Ferrari looking to the inside of the Mercedes, can't quite get there, and Mr. Elite has made a mistake as his teammate is now back in DRS contention up in front. We've now got 2 laps left in this race, and Jonathan Cox just can't quite close up on Stinson up in front, and the Ferrari and Renault side by side. He must have had a really good run going in deep and forcing the rival off the track. Really should have given him a little bit more space, and DFRL Hazard gets a 3-second time penalty over the Renault for that little incident as he drove him off the track, running a little bit too deep. Did the Renault, the Ferrari perhaps could have backed out, well, not too wise to keep it on the outside of such a heavy braking zone. Of course, mistakes do happen though, and DFRL Hazard down into P8 as he was running P5 only a couple of laps later, and we're on to the final lap of the race, and Stinson leaves the way with 2 seconds. This is now a teammate fight for P5 as it stands. Hazard looking to also try and get some revenge on the Renault. If it were me, I'd just send up the inside and drive him off the track as he did to me, but we're not all the same, are we? You're going to be able to give it, you've got to be able to take it. But in the slipstream, the Mercedes looking to overtake each other. A teammate battle between them two. Literally, Mr. Elite has drained his entire battery. He's going to go to the inside half-heartedly. His teammate looks to the inside, backs out of it, thinks there's another DRS zone, sets up a cutback. Can he get the power down? His teammate looking a bit squirmy as well in the DRS, pushing it through this sector, and he's going to get on the inside. Not much space, but he found some room, and his teammate's going to look to the outside. Is he coming into the chicane? He takes the racing line, so he can't do that, and takes that P5 position over his teammate. There's yellow flag in sector 2, and it is Dragon on Speed, I believe, that has spun round and managed to get going once again. Luckily not the race leader of Stinson, as that would be a pretty big bottle to make. But as he rounds the last couple of corners, oh, and Jay Wuhan has had a massive tank slapper, and he's managed to hold that pretty well. But rounding the final corner, Stinson to come across the line to win from the back of the grid the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, followed by Jonathan Cox and his championship rival KRC, followed by Wuhan in 4th. Ferg comes across to beat his teammate and beat Wuhan as well by 400ths of a second to take P4. Mr. Elite falling down a little bit as well because of the penalties. Forza Ferrari round in the final corner to take the final points paying position, followed by the team of Benny Boy. Dragon on Speed going a bit wide, looks like he's got a bit of time to just, take some room, and he's going to do some donuts while he waits for everyone to come round. No point lost, so he might as well do it, and Provi is coming pretty quickly. Is he going to go backwards? He's going to do some more donuts. Is Provi going to join him, or is he going to take that position? It looks like he is. Pretty good race, it must be said. So Stinson takes the win for Jonathan KRC, keeping his championship hopes alive in P3. Ferg P4, Wuhan P5, Calhoun P3, Mr. Elite P7. So it's been a pretty good race, pretty great race from everyone. Great fight, and Stinson my driver of the day. Let's see if the game approves. It does. Stinson, for me, your driver of the day. Make sure to let us know if you think the same. Drove a great race, had a bit of a shaky start, getting some damage early on, but maximised the safety car restarts to his advantage, and he wins another race. And Stinson really showing his talent and worth at the moment. Coming from the back of the grid, Jonathan Cox and the other championship rival of KRC coming in third. So a really great race. Had a bit of a big start, but of course, but yeah, great race. Bit of a shaky start, but other than that, it's been pretty good. Stinson takes the fastest lap as well, with 3 stops. Jonathan Cox has 1. Perhaps the 3 stop is quicker. Who knows? But great race, guys. Thank you so much for having me in the comms booth. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to everyone involved at RRC for having me involved for the second time. I hope to be here a while, commentating for you all. And I've been Zach. This has been the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.